Legend tales of a place where the booze flows freely and the stories are always entertaining. If you are bold enough to seek out such a place, head 13 miles down the Tuscan Highway to a tiny blues joint known as the Townsmith Tavern. Once there, enjoy the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and Bowl.
Excuse me, you can't say that. You're gonna lose your family-friendly rating. You're gonna corrupt the kids.
BS! A podcast that invites you to grab a cold beverage, pull up a seat, and enjoy time with friends. And here are your hosts, Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder.
Hey, that's still me. I mean, whether you knew it or not, that's still me.
You know,
glad to start up this little thing here that we call, I guess you could call it a podcast. And I've been out of it so much, I'm sitting here bashing my microphone. I don't even have a position to write, but check this out. I got the old KRD and Eyewitness News 8 on there for the old stream. We got the KRD and Eyewitness Weather Now stream, keeping you up to date 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Howie Blues, I think, maybe one of 5 subscribers. And they're all other. The 4 others are alias accounts from Howie Blues.
Yeah, probably. More than likely. I plead.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Exactly. I don't have a lawyer on retainer yet. No, I mean, it's been a while since we've got to hear that sort of an intro.
Making the big bucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised I still remembered it for the most part.
Last time we started doing this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, everybody, welcome to the inaugural podcast. This has been a long time in the making. I tried to go back to the history books to figure out when did we exactly start talking about doing this. And, that's just lost to history.
Are you talking about BSing together, or are you talking about just actually deciding when we were going to start this train
just when we were going to start this? Us BSing, we go back, we're coming up on 19 years this fall.
Yep.
So almost
19 years,
almost 2 decades.
Isn't that crazy?
Getting old sucks.
I don't know. You're getting old. I mean, well, wait a minute. Hold on. I might be getting a little old too because I lost my hair from the time that we started this crap. But let's be honest. I look better now than what I did with hair. So, and I mean this striking beard as well. You as well have the striking goatee. So, not alone in this world we call facial hair.
Right. Well, and I have to keep the goatee. If I shave that off, man, I still look like the way I did back in high school. So, yeah.
And I think somebody would kill you. I'm just going to throw that out there as well. Somebody would probably kill you.
Yeah, there is some
permission we got basically. Yeah, that's for sure. So one of the things that we wanted to kind of discuss tonight, because this is like our first gathering, and we'll fight through the lag delay, because I just know that it's going to be one of those things. Technology has not worked well for me in the past week. I think that there's some kind of omen out there, maybe even a demon per se, that we might have to call like the doctor in for or something to try and get rid of this, because it's being an absolute pain in the ass. But a few of the things that we wanted to discuss was, whatever happened to the Mark Kidder. And obviously, who the hell is Howard Blues? I mean, Okay, so let's answer the first question. First question: what happened to Mark Kidder? Well, Mark Kidder is still obviously live, loud, and of course, absolutely in charge of the Mark Kidder fandom, shall we say. Continuing along with all of this, I'm trying to fit my ego into this room. I really don't have that big of an ego. I mean, of course, you're going to disagree with me. But basically, you know what? I topped out on the radio charts, #1 per capita in the country for active rock over 2 years running. And on top of that, 3 to 7, the afternoon drive time show. Absolutely on top of the world. And you know what? Hey, if you're not first, you're last, right? I was first. I'm like, you know what? That was pretty fun. I'm going to go do some other stuff. Went and did some other stuff. Now, back in the media, we are rolling. And of course, got my bro, Howie Blues, over there. I could tell you or tell everybody who's joining us for this dumpster fire who the hell Howie Blues actually is. But I am going to take a quick drink here and allow you to take over the microphone.
Yeah, so I just have to say, the reason I thought we should start off with this particular question is because I knew as soon as we started said podcast, you know, the Mark Kidder fans were going to rise up and be like, he's back! Where has he been? We've missed him! And who's this other guy? you know, but back, you know, when you were...
It's that guy.
Yeah, it's that guy. Back when you were in your heyday of your DJ career, I did tag along on some things. People might remember me. I didn't really say much. Usually carried a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Was, you know, kind of the, what's the word I'm looking? The Sherpa, if you will. Often carrying all of the stuff that Mr. Kidder needed in order to perform at his absolute best when out there with the public. But, yeah.
I couldn't have done without you there, Howie Blues. Couldn't have done it.
Yeah. I'd like to think that I also provided
many wonderful things, many concerts.
I was going to say, I'd like to think I provided you some entertainment because, as Kidder knows, I have this weird ability to attract strange people. And on more than one occasion, he would leave me in the middle of a situation just laughing because he knew, for one thing, I have a bit of a hearing disorder. It's hard for me to hear in loud rooms. So he would leave me with somebody yapping at me, and I could hardly hear what they were saying or make out what they were saying. And he just got a kick out of leaving me in those situations. In fact, as a...
Howie Blues, you good? Yep. I'm going to be right back.
My absolute favorite one that you ever did was back when the one was the one, right? Before it, because it's now, the strawberry is what it is these days.
Correct.
But back when it was the one, you took me to a show, and I was sitting there, and it was back when they had the round tables. We were sitting there, and some stranger comes and sits down at our table and is just...
hanging out and enjoying ourselves.
Some stranger sits down, and he's just staring at me. And he leans over and he says something to you. And you just kind of say something back, and he's still looking. I go, and I text you because there's no way in hell I'm hearing anything over the crappy screamo band that was up at that time. But I text you like, what's up with this guy? What does he want? And you texted me back. He's like, oh, he thinks you're so-and-so from this other band. I'm like, you've corrected him on this fact that I'm not, right? And all you texted back was, maybe. And that was it. Eventually the guy lost interest, but yeah, it was situations like that made those days of going around to gigs with you always entertaining, always interesting.
It was always entertaining, and of course it's like, oh, what's up with Silent Bob over here? I'm like, oh, that's just Howie Blues. If he's got something to say, you're gonna know about it. But you know what? Right now, he's good. Just let him do his thing because we're all gonna do this together.
Yeah. So needless to say, me and Kidder, we have been friends since high school. We have, at times, lived in the same apartment.
Which was like yesterday.
Yeah. And at other times, we have lived states apart. But as the years have gone on, it's been harder and harder for us to get together. And so that's where the idea for this podcast really came from. A chance for the two of us to sit down, share some stories, get a little caught up on what each other's up to, hopefully entertain you as we go, and just overall have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the things too, where it's a little bit easier to do this via the video thing here with the audio versus the two of us trying to carve time in our schedule to get together in the same room. It's almost an act of Congress, and we know all about that. But we're not going to be a political podcast, at least tonight. Well, we'll save that for another time. So I think that pretty much covers it. As of this showing, we are currently in the midst of an Avalanche, a Colorado Avalanche game against the Anaheim Ducks. And Jake, I do have to say, by the way, we also go by Jake and Elwood. He's Jake, I'm Elwood. That's just one of our little shticks. We'll go into that at some other time, which is where the blues comes in, because you know what? You just can't get a good life without a little bit of the blues. You know what I'm saying? But the breaking news is that Anaheim has taken a 1-goal lead over your Colorado Avalanche at 12 minutes remaining in the first period. So we'll be watching that as we continue along here on the Triple B, as it were. I believe we went through pretty much introducing who we were. So how about this? Segueing through the hockey, and you're going to hear a little bit of the game. I'll turn it down. I don't want you to have to hear the whole game as well, but I'll keep an eye on what's going on with what we have going on here. Colorado Avalanche, your University of North Dakota Fighting Sioux. I don't know about this Hawk thing. That's another show topic for another day as well. But superior to every other hockey team on the planet. Howie Blues, what you say to that? I
mean, there's nothing else that I can say. I mean, I completely agree with that. I've been really, I wasn't a hockey fan growing up because I grew up in the Black Hills. It's not a lot of hockey in the Black Hills, at least when I was growing up. And so I didn't actually see hockey until I was at UND. And I had gotten a job at the Ralph Engelstead as an usher. And first game I saw was an exhibition game between the Fighting Sioux and Boston College.
The Manitoba Bisons. Oh, no, Boston
It was
College.
Actually Boston College. Yeah, it was an actual team that we've in the past struggled with. But the moment, and I still remember, the moment I became a hockey fan is I'm standing there as an usher watching, and Zach Parise, one of our favorites, although he plays for a much weaker NHL team now. But back in the day, one of our favorites to watch at UND, he ended up in the box on a penalty, which is a rare thing for him during his college days. He didn't spend a lot of time in the box, but he sits there, he serves his 2 minutes, and just seconds before his penalty is set to expire, Boston College is on a breakaway, players skating right past the penalty box. The door opens. Parise puts 1 foot on the ice, sticks his arm out, clotheslines the Boston College player, steps back into the box and sits down because he knows he's going to sit for a bit longer. And I watched that. I'm like, I kind of like this hockey thing. So that's where I really dove into hockey.
And that's the best thing about hockey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've,
I love it.
Yeah. Been a UND hockey fan since then. And of course, Colorado Avs, still love cheering them on. And we got a great team this year. I haven't got to see a lot of the games, but man, every time they do play, I love opening up Facebook the next day and seeing that score and going, oh yeah, we're doing great. So.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. You know what? Every team has some injuries and off nights, whether you're tired or whatnot. Interesting fact I learned about I was watching last night's game is the Avs are on a 17 game streak this month here in March. So there's a game or 2 games in a row, and there's no more than 1 day off between games played this entire month. So they'll play 1 or 2 games, have 1 day off, play another 1 or 2 games before having another day off. And that's the entire month, just because of the COVID protocol that the NHL has come up with. But touching on some awesome players, of course, our very own Fighting Sioux alumni, Tyson Jost, number 17, doing a great job picking up some slack on the defense here because right now Cale Makar out with a lower body injury. He's still going day by day. Should be back in the lineup here, within the next hopefully a couple weeks. On top of that, the whiz kid, Nathan McKinnon. I mean, how awesome is he? He wasn't in the lineup last night, and doesn't look like he's in the lineup for tonight's game either. But he is the Sidney Crosby of tomorrow. Except he's not, well, shall we say, a bitch. That's just my 2 cents, okay? And oh, look, and a fun fact for you, that's just something that we were messing with before we started recording. If you notice the captions on the bottom of the screen here, we were messing around with this and discovered that the captions are there and how accurate or non-accurate they are. But of course, you got to try seeing what swear words you can get away with, right? I won't go into any more at the moment just to save you from a little bit of adult obscenities, but you know what? It is pretty ridiculous when you can't even say an FCC cleared word called bitch. But anyway, Nathan McKinnon, fantastic player. Gabriel Landeskog just passed Milan Hajduk in the Avs overall goal scorers in an Avalanche or Quebec Nordiques sweater. I believe Landy's up to 204 goals now. So he is, I think, number 4 on the all-time scorers list. So fantastic. Great group of people on the team, from the veterans like that all the way to some of the newer players. I mean, we could go on and on and on talking about them, but really you just have to watch some Avalanche hockey and just enjoy it. I also, for a fun fact, 3 years ago was in Phoenix, Arizona, watching your Colorado Avalanche play against the Arizona Coyotes. And in the second row seats right behind the bench, fantastic seats that I was able to get, enjoyed a phenomenal game. Avalanche won, I believe it was 6-1, plus a 4-on-4 fight right in front of us, right in front of the Avs bench. Plus, we got to fist bump the players as they came back out of the locker room for the third period. Phenomenal. The interesting thing, aside from how awesome the experience was, when I was in the stands after the game and had a couple beverages, enjoying myself, a few people came up to me and asked, "Are you Nathan McKinnon's brother?" I'm like, man, I wish. That'd be pretty cool, huh? You look just like him, like you're his brother. Huh. I mean, I never thought about it before then, but now I started looking back at some of the photos that he's got, or team photos, whatnot. I'm like, I could be his brother. That's pretty cool. So,
yeah. Well, at least you could hear them ask that question, unlike some of us when we are mistaken for celebrity.
I just turn around and, you know what, Howard, you got this one. So I'm going to just I'm gonna hit the road. You got it. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. So, just
Let's see.
just to segue here a bit, because clearly you're following hockey because it is hockey season. But I've been meaning to ask you. This question has been on my mind for a bit because you used to watch Cops very religiously, along with PD
Yes.
Live, and I'm very curious. What is the Mark Kidder watching now that both of those shows have been canceled? Because it seems like that would clear up a large chunk of your viewing schedule.
Well, the new episodes. It's true. I mean, that as you know, every Saturday night when Cops was on Fox, 6 p.m. before DVR, we are sitting in front of the TV and we're watching that new, or 7 o'clock used to be. We're watching that new episode of Cops, and of course, Fox would find some way to screw that up and kick it off to, for some inferior show. But Pluto TV has a Cops channel. It's free. You can download on your Fire Stick. You click right there. And you know what? There's also a Star Trek channel on there and a Doctor Who channel. And it's all for free. You don't even have to sign up or log in. And so if you have a Fire Stick, go to the App Store, download the Pluto TV app. And I wish that they would give us a little bit of residuals for mentioning their name. But that's one of the things that I've been doing, watching reruns of Cops. I was actually doing it last night. I was finishing up some stuff at work. Oddly enough, I looked up, saw the opening scene with the specific, see the officer, and I'm like, I remember this one. He's going to chase down a dude from a bicycle. 3 minutes later, he's chasing the dude down to the bicycle after he ran from a bicycle because he was pissed because he had a bunch of heroin on him. Well, I still got it. We can call it whatever.
Yeah, back when, for the audience, as to kind of fill in why that matters, back in the day when Kidder and I were roommates in college, we watched Cops every Saturday, and we used to make it interesting, play a game of, you had to, before anything got called in, you had to try and guess what the thing was going to be. Is it a domestic dispute? Is it,
what's the call?
Yeah. What's the call? And what I didn't,
is it a pursuit? Is it a traffic stop? Is it somebody crazed on the corner screaming at people? All kinds of stuff.
Right. And it took me a while to figure out, because there are so many episodes of Cops. That show was on for years. And of course, there was usually a replay of an older episode before the new one. And it took me a while to figure it out. But yeah. Kidder here has almost a photographic memory when it comes to episodes of Cops. And so he would get it right. And now I don't have a problem with that, except the fact that he slow played it every time. He'd sit there and go,
oh man, I think this one.
I think it's gonna.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. It could be. There's gonna be so many different things here.
A long shot, assault and battery. And sure enough, that's what would happen. And you're just like, "Wow, okay, good guess. Wow, that's wow."
Yep, that was good stuff. So, really, I filled my time with watching some of those replays of Cops on Pluto TV. Still hoping Live PD is able to come back, and Cops, because it's absolutely asinine why they are not on the air, just because it's a great way for anybody in the public to watch and see what it's like to be a police officer. It's a quick version and a lot less paperwork, but it still gives you the ability to check that out. So in the meantime, reruns here and there, but watching a lot of Star Trek, The Expanse, another phenomenal show that Amazon picked up after Sci-Fi canceled them. One more season of that coming up next year in 2022. Just finished WandaVision last night, and I know Howie hasn't seen that, so there will be no spoilers on this show. Doctor Who, and hockey. I mean, those are just a couple of them. NCIS New Orleans, that'll be ending after the current season that's running on the air. And WWE. Howie and I are huge WWE fans, although the product has kind of gotten weak over the past a couple years, we'll just say. I think it started going downhill actually when CM Punk decided to leave the company. I'm just going to say that. But obviously, it's clobbering time. So, Jake, what have you been? I know that we're kind of getting off of our little topic that we're talking about, but you've been watching a bunch of the same stuff, but also some different stuff, right?
Well, right, and unlike you, when I moved into my house here, we don't have cable. My wife and I cut the cord a long time ago. So for us, if we are going to watch something, it's either a streaming service like Netflix or Amazon Prime or YouTube. And so a lot of times, and especially now that we have, little Howard, we don't watch as much TV as we used to. We still will put on shows such as NCIS we've been working through on Netflix. We'll also tend to put on the occasional reality TV series that's on there, which there's been some good ones on there. I'm not a huge reality TV fan. I hate all of the squabbling, fighting, drama stuff. Really, because I like to see these guys who are craftsmen at their job actually just being awesome. So we watch a little bit, usually in the background of Forged in Fire. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. Kidder was basically 4 blacksmiths.
Nope, not familiar with that one.
It's really kind of cool. It's 4 blacksmiths, and they start off. The first challenge is usually something a little out there. It might be like, hey, you need to build a knife that's under these specifications, but you have to salvage your metal from this lawnmower. Okay. And they'll get 3 hours to kind of start their knife, and then they kick somebody off. And then the remaining 3 will have to finish the knife, put a handle on it, and then they go through tests. And I don't mean that these are just like, slightly sharp. I mean, they really do beat the hell out of these knives. I mean, it's just kind of crazy in that sense. And after that, they'll eliminate somebody else. So then it's down to 2. And they will send those 2 usually back home to their home forge that they have, and they usually have to then recreate some historic weapon. And they have 5 days to do it. And then they come back and they again test their blades and put them through hell. It's been amazing to watch, but the other thing that I like about it is in all the episodes I've seen, I have never seen anybody upset that they've lost. Every single person who walks off goes, well, I gave it my best. I had a fun experience, but I just didn't have it today. And I wish I could come back and try it again. And it's just like,
yeah, that's all right.
I'm like, I'm cool with that. I'm so much happier when they're like that, and it's not the judges have no sense of style or taste or whatever. So, been watching that. So, but beyond that,
sorry, I'm out. So
yeah.
I need to refill real quick.
I was gonna say, beyond that, just a lot of stuff on YouTube. Kidder, I'm coming off a bit of a health crisis that had me laid up for a while, and no, I did not have the coronavirus. I got lucky. Have not had that.
No Rona
for me. But I did have a bit of a kind of a health issue, and sometime we'll have to tell that story because that story is still just crazy and has some great twists and turns. But man, I spent a lot of time watching YouTube, and let me tell you, I have some issues with the YouTube algorithm. So It's one of those
Mm-hmm.
one of those things of that, you know, I get that they're trying to get you to find other videos, you know, and it's this whole, oh, hey, you might like this content. I understand that. But what I have issue with is, hey, I started
Mhm.
this video. Okay, this is a good video. It's somebody I've watched. It's maybe a part of a series. I'm watching this. But then, you know, my little guy starts crying. Something, you know, happens. It's time to go to bed. Whatever. You stop the video. Try finding that video again ever. Like, it just doesn't pop back up. Their continue watching thing is like, well, you got to scroll through all of this stuff before, hey, here's this thing you were watching. So I get tired of that. But I also get tired of every now and then they put that video up and you're like, of somebody you've never seen before. And you're like, yeah, I'll give them a try. It's on a topic. It seems interesting. And you start watching it.
Hmm.
And, you know, you maybe get through the whole video, but you go, God, no, not good. Not good. Okay, I made it through this one. And YouTube goes, hey, you watched this video the whole way through. Here's another video by this guy, and another one, 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 and another one. It's like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, I didn't even like the first one. Stop it.
Didn't you like the first one?
Yeah.
I've run into something like that too, where you end up kind of like what you're saying. You watch the video, and you watched 2 minutes in it, whatever, or even just scrolled through it. You know, you're scrubbing the video, and I can do that on my YouTube account, where I've had that. There's videos from 10 years ago that I literally just watched a slight portion of it that are still there in your, hey, you want to keep watching this because you started watching this, so you need to watch more of this. And I'm like, no, I don't need to watch it again. Please remove it from my watch list. You click the little dots and then remove. No, it's still there. Why is it still there? I don't want to watch it again. Like, I'm done. I'm done with this video. Leave it, like, go away. Go into digital purgatory. I don't care. I'm done with this video. And then for you, you're like, hey, that was kind of interesting. Nope, we're done with that.
Bye.
It's gone. We'll see you later.
Oh,
Kobe.
have you ever had this one? This one happens to me with some of the series I follow, where it's like after about a year or so, YouTube forgets that I've watched that video. So, like, I will have,
Nope, I haven't had that.
Oh, I get it all the time where it's like, hey, you just watched this current video of these guys doing some crazy stuff in GTA 5. You know what you might want to watch next? This same guy is doing some crazy stuff in GTA 5 from last year. It's like,
okay,
it's like,
yeah, that's legit.
It's like I've already watched that.
Why not?
One. You know, that's. So I get that. You know, and I will say, every now and then you hit some gold with this. You know, my wife and I, we watch a channel called Sailing Delos, and it's about these people who have been sailing on a sailboat for like 10 years around the world. And it's just great background, don't have to pay attention to it kind of noise. I enjoy it. But it was one that it caught me in this great sense because it was somebody else was interviewing them, and it's like, hey, we're going to take a tour of this sailboat that has been sailing around the world for 10 years and the people who've lived on it. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. How does one live on a sailboat for 10 years? You know? And I watched that,
Sure.
enjoyed that, and then it's like, hey, here's...
I believe that once they set sail, they don't really have a choice there.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it was one of those. It intrigued me, and then I started watching their channel, and then my wife's like, why are you watching sailing videos? You have no desire to do sailing. I'm like, you're correct. I said, but seeing these people and this lifestyle is fascinating to me in this great sense, you know, this
Yeah.
you know, because it's a mindset that I couldn't probably ever wrap my head around. This whole, like, you know what, I'm gonna quit my job, sell my house, buy a 53-foot yacht, and I'm just gonna take off and sail the world. What do I do for money? Well, in the early days, when I hit a port, I stop and I flip burgers. until I make enough money to go sailing again. And then YouTube comes along, and it's like
Howie Blues, the burger flipper and aficionado.
yeah, but then it's like, oh, YouTube. Well, now I'm going to share my adventures, and people are going to sponsor me sailing around the world. And I have no plans. I could go anywhere. It's like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'm too much of a, what if something happens? Where's the money come from?
Right.
But so to me, it's just fascinating in that sense, and they do some pretty cool stuff where they'll, they get into some interesting adventures, and I enjoy it. But yeah, it is just kind of that perfect thing that you can have on and kind of go, oh, okay, I can look at my phone a little bit. I can pick back up. It is enjoyable. But that's been my big thing with YouTube.
It's something different.
Yeah, is just trying to find videos and how it recommends them, and you're just like, oh. It's enough where, have you ever done this? You accidentally click on a YouTube video and you're like, oh my God, no, stop. I don't want to see more of these. I didn't mean to click it.
Yes.
I didn't mean to click it. I don't want to see it. That's a real panic.
Yes. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
It has happened, yes.
Yeah. And then you get stuck with a bunch of videos in your feed of cats eating cupcakes, and you're just like, no, nobody wants this.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was accidentally the for work we had to have video of WAP, if you're familiar.
Yeah, I'm
with that quality piece of media out there. So you click on that. Now it shows up in your suggested videos, and then all the videos that are similar to that show up in your suggested videos. And now you have about 50 of these trashy videos that are in your suggested videos, completely blowing up everything else that you ever want to watch. I feel ashamed. I don't know if I can go on.
I'm sure that's one of those that if you
really feel ashamed,
I'm sure that's one of those you pull up YouTube at some point to show somebody a video, and like that pops up, and you're like, oh, it was a work thing. I swear. I'm not into these videos. I don't watch it.
Yeah. Pardon me. I swear. Work and stuff.
So Kidder, I do see that you are partaking of a looks to be a nice tasty beverage.
Yes.
What's on tap for you tonight?
For this evening, I had the chance to meet the inventor of this, by the way. It is the Canadian Club Classic 12. It is a blended Canadian whiskey. It is, as you see, aged 12 years. That was, by the way, my pointer finger, in case you couldn't see that. A couple things. There's some rich toffee, some peppery notes, and then oak notes in here as well. Again, aged the 12 years. Canadian Club. It is absolutely fantastic. It is a charred oak bourbon barrels is what they put it in, and delivers the full aroma, vanilla, mellow wood, the spices, which is my favorite part of it. It's a very, very spicy bit, and then the soft butterscotch in there. It's an award-winning whiskey. 150 years ago is when Canadian Rye and the Canadian Club started their whole thing. But finest quality grains here with the Canadian Club. So, like I said, I got to meet the inventor of this recipe of the Canadian Club Classic 12. He is called the Whiskey Ambassador. And if you get a chance, go check him out on the line, as it were. Works with Canadian Club and also with Jim Beam, the U.S. counterpart. They're part of the same company, but fantastic. The first portion of my glass, so I do like drinking it straight, which you've seen me drinking it, but the first portion that I had there was actually an old-fashioned mix as well with proof syrup and the Classic 12. So makes an old-fashioned. And there's no freaking cherry. Don't muddle a cherry and put it in your old-fashioned. I'm sorry, because I'm going to lose my shit on this, okay? And I'm sorry, that's a swear word for you. Right down there in the Google, check the closed captions, because this is pissing me off. Do not put cherry or cherry muddle or cherry syrup, any freaking cherry in an old fashioned. You can put a cherry as a garnish. That's it. There's whiskey or bourbon along with simple syrup. You do a zest of an orange peel. You toss that in there. You can stir it. And if the patron would like a cherry, get the frickin' cherry away from me. By the way, you can put the cherry right on top as a garnish. Oh, and then a couple dashes of bitters. Just simple bitters. They don't have to be any fancy bitters, just bitters. That's it. That is an old-fashioned. If you want a Manhattan, it's a little bit different, where you have sweet vermouth, and then you put the cherries as a garnish on there. I typically don't order Manhattans because I don't want the freaking cherry. So why would you muddle a cherry in this thing and give me the freaking muddled cherry? I'm sorry. That really bothers me.
I was going to say, tell us how you really feel about that cherry.
I mean, I could tell you exactly where I want that cherry to go, but I don't think the closed captioning on here is going to be able to keep up with me, because you're just going to see asterisks across the screen, and it's just going to look like it timed out or something, you know? Whatever. But the Classic 12, hit up Canadian Club right over here. They also have rye. They have regular. If you like the cherry stuff, they also have a cherry wood that it actually isn't too bad. And I'm sure they have a ton of other products too. But that is what's on tap tonight in my Star Trek Deep Space Nine glass.
And I really can't follow that up. As alluded to earlier, coming off of a bit of medical stuff, I have kind of cut back on my drinking. Trying to let that get in, under control. Yep. But I do have a son who just turned 1, so caffeine. In this case, Kickstarter. I could try and do the whole sales pitch like you.
Hopefully that has at least 200 milligrams.
It's a lovely midnight grape flavoring. They pick the grapes specifically at midnight because that's when grapes taste the best. At least that's the BS I'm going with on this.
Oh, I did not know that. Howie, can you elaborate on that a little bit more, please? Because I would like to know how the grape syrup tastes. It has its best piece of procurement at midnight.
I believe it's all a trade secret. No. So, I don't need Mountain Dew coming after me on this.
Oh, right.
I probably said too much already.
That's true. I'm sure that because you already know their trade secrets and you don't want to give away it because we don't have any money doing this whole thing, clearly, because we're not in our own studio. So, one of these days, man, we'll hit it rich and we'll actually be able to do this without any lag in between.
You got to have those goals. If we were perfect on the first outing, it would get boring really fast. We need something to work towards to get better at. So at least this is a good start. It's a good place.
Start at the bottom, you work your way up. Something like that. What else? Oh, speaking of starting things, have you started any new games lately? Like, we're video gamers, the very casual end of it. Although I like to take it probably a little bit to the extreme, as you could tell by my rant dealing with old fashions and the freaking cherries put on top. So sometimes I get a little amped up when I'm playing certain games. But Jake, Howie, have you been playing any new games lately?
So I'm going to surprise you, actually, because as Kidder knows,
Probably haven't.
I'm more of a almost retired video gamer. That used to be my thing, but life has kind of taken me in this crazy ride where I don't have time to game. That's the truth of it.
Yeah.
I have great games. I have The Witcher 3 that's sitting up over here on a shelf. I have played the tutorial, and then life kept me away from the game for like 4 months. So I come back to the game. I'm like, I know that there's a specific button to push to do this, but I can't remember it. So I start the tutorial over, and I get through the tutorial, and then life takes me away for several months, and come back, and I'm like, you'd think I would have learned this the last time. So I don't play games all that often. I've moved more to board games. I play those with my family all the time. But just today, as we were working on trying to set this particular podcast up, my wife and I started a new game. It's been out for a while, but it's a nice chill game that the two of us can play together called Stardew Valley. So we aren't very far into it, but we started that this evening. If you're not familiar with it, it is and this is going to sound boring as dirt. It is a farming RPG. Oh yeah. Yep. Your grandfather has deeded you.
It's the return of Farmville.
Well, except
it's the return of Farmville.
It's
in the flesh.
better than Farmville.
And plastic.
Better than Farmville. It's you have inherited your grandfather's farm, and it's kind of like an open world sandbox game centered around that. You could work on being a farmer, you could go adventuring in the mines, or you could spend your day fishing. It's a lot of options in that, but it's one of those games that we can put on. We can just kind of chill, relax, play together, and we're not stressed out about it. But so far, we're not very far into it. We just started it, but so far we're enjoying it. It's been fun. How about you, Kidder? Anything new?
Well, I'm curious if you were able to operate a Caterpillar 320D excavator in that game.
Negative. You can get a horse. Otherwise, it's all by hand, man. It's get the hoe out, till the land, chop down some trees, break some rocks, cut some weeds, plant some parsnips.
I don't know if the hoe wants to do any of that. I'm just going to throw that out there. Okay. No, I am still stuck on Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I have some reason, glutton for punishment, I suppose, and enjoy screaming at my television with getting leg killed and the cheaters running abound. I have some soft place in my heart that keeps me going on Call of Duty Modern Warfare. No stinking Black Ops, no stinking whatever other Call of Duties anymore. I am on the Modern Warfare.
I can see that. I mean, I do play Modern Warfare with you guys every now and then when I can. But again, with the little one, my time gets a bit limited. So like my time is like from 10 o'clock until 11. And that's about it. And it's only because it's like, 6 a.m. comes really early. So I'm only willing to give up so much sleep. But it's one of those things. I enjoy playing with you guys, but the game itself, meh. I was never great at Call of Duty. I enjoyed the camaraderie of it, but yeah.
Yep.
It to me
more about the whole thing of it, like you said, just playing together.
Right. It's one of those things. Although I will say I do not get as mad at games as you guys do, because I liked Call of Duty World War II. I enjoyed it. I was into that game, I was glad that you guys like, hey, Chris, here's a copy. We need you to come and play with us. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, fine. I'll do it. And I was like, this is great. I'm actually kind of enjoying this. This is some different maps. This is okay. Yeah, this is great. And the whole time you guys are like, God, these cheaters. I'm being screen sniped everywhere. No. We're quitting. We're gonna go play Battlefield. But guys, I don't have
drop shot and pieces of.
I don't have Battlefield. Guys. Okay.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Battle.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Hey, we're playing Battle. All right. Hey, yeah. Okay, this isn't bad. And then you guys left again.
Oh yeah, we're done with Battlefield now for a while. We're on Modern Warfare.
So it's one of those things where I'm always glad to get to hop on and play with you guys for a bit, but Call of Duty, I don't know. It's great for just hopping in for a little bit, but like it's amazing. I sit and scroll through those menus. I'm like, I don't know what half this stuff is. I'm probably not playing all.
Neither do we, because we play the same thing over and over again.
Well, I just mean even like, what okay. There's all these perks. I don't remember what any of these perks do. I'm going to set up these perks. I'm going to just run that. I've been on a Claymore the whole time, which is one of the starting lethal weapons. I haven't upgraded that. I don't even bother with kill streaks. I don't get that far.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Half the time, neither do I, and then I'll go on a streak and just lay waste to the competition.
My favorite is when you guys are like,
"Oh man,
the next zone is over here." I'm like, "Okay, where is that? Can you draw me a map? Can you give me directions? Hello, anyone? Somebody got GPS?
Left.
Left? Oh, okay.
Follow me until I die."
Usually I don't get that far. Usually you'll go, "Oh, it's just to the left." Okay. Well, I'm dead. I'm gonna have to start over trying to find this place. The number of times that I have run into the place and I'm like, I'm here.
That drop shot and piece of cheating mother. That's just me.
Yeah. But so but not a lot of video gaming on my side, but we'll see. I do have a new board game. I was telling Kidder, let's see if I can do this. More this way. Nope.
Oh boy. Oh
there.
Boy.
Right there.
Now we've done it.
So
oh man.
Right there's my new acquired. It's the board game version of Fallout Shelters. It's a worker placement game. I'll let you know how I think of it once I finally get it to the table, but might be a while. Since most of the time I play board games, it's with like a group of like 6 people, and that one's only a 4-player count. So it'll be a bit. But one of these days, I'll let you know what I think.
That's why we have Call of Duty, because you can have up to 16. All sharing the misery together. That's what we're all about here. The triple B.
Yeah.
There should be a sharing the misery. Just right underneath. We should add that.
Keep that one in mind, Kidder. That'll be great on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Got the triple B right here, and then sharing in the misery. Maybe we'll put that on the back, because that'd be good. Everybody behind you is like, "Oh, what the hell is that? What you should be sharing the misery. I mean, what are you sharing? You sharing? You got something for me? Is your name Sharon? I mean, what?
All right, well,
make it happen.
We'll get the graphics department on it. It's not like they're busy with a bunch of other graphics for this show.
Yeah, bunch of sloths just collecting a paycheck. That's really what's happening. The graphics department.
Well, on that note,
well,
I say, Kidder, I think we made it. I think we made it to the end. I think we've done it. I think we have successfully recorded an episode of Beer Blues and BS.
Triple B. Of course, make sure that you click that like button right there on the old Facebook, because we want to hear and see from you. Facebook, it is a Beer Blues ampersand BS, the podcast. Go ahead and shoot us a message, whatnot. Check out the Infinite Wasteland that is Facebook right there. we'll have our information up there so you can get in contact with us aside from the normal methods. But hopefully we'll have another few of these here real quick, and you can continue watching and enjoying in the, shall we say, shenanigans that we have going on. Also started the second period here with the Avalanche and the Anaheim Ducks. Ducks are still leading 1-0 over the good guys, but we'll see if they can pick it up as they are wearing those throwback Nordique jeepers, the jerseys, the sweaters, trying to have jersey sweater at the same time, just completely losing it there. But
yeah,
that's what happens when you don't sleep. We're both in the same boat there.
Right. I at least have a decent reason. You just work too much.
I suppose. Oh yeah, and KRD and Eyewitness News 8, twitch.com/KRD and Eyewitness Weather now. Get your Central North Dakota forecast any time of the day or night, just for you.
And if you're outside of Central North Dakota, we're sorry. That's all he can do.
I mean, sort of.
Come on, you got to leave something for Hutch. Got to leave him the east side.
Well, he totally has the valley covered and western Minnesota. He's got all of that. We've got the rest of it at KRDN. The rest of the country, Central North Dakota, and the rest of the U.S. We can do it. We have the technology. We have the technology.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. We'll catch you down the road next time.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
I guess we should have just decided before we start this who wants to kick off.
I think we need a third party.
All right.
I don't have my coin flipper app anymore. Remember, I don't know if you remember that. We used to have a coin flipper app.
Yeah. Well, I think I can get us going.
Avalanche and Anaheim just starting.
Oh. Okay, keep us updated.
Coin flip free. Install.
For future decisions. All right.
Oh, okay. I can choose. No, I don't want to rate it. I can choose from a penny to a dime to the golden dollar, not the Sakakawea dollar, a nickel or a quarter. So I believe we're going to have to go with the dollar.
Good choice. Good choice.
The John Quincy Adams
Yeah.
on there. So, with that, your heads, I'll be tails.
Okay.
It made a ding, and it's vibrating.
Quality.
What is that?
Quality.
I guess that's tails, right? It's the Statue of Liberty.
I'm gonna.
Do you really lose? It's not John Quincy Adams. Do we need to go to a penny or a quarter? One that actually...
Maybe one that we actually recognize. Does it not offer the loony or the toonie? Can we not go Canadian? Okay.
Hey, there's no Canadian options in this. It's only a true American app. It's probably made in China. So there again is the flip. That is a heads. So
I guess that's me.
with our first check. You go ahead and lead us off. And I think we can leave all of this in there.
We put this in at the end of the show. This is the blooper reel right here. This is like, if you listened through the whole thing, here's what happened before we did the kickoff.
Yes, I'm